Have you ever thought about learning Spanish? Try my Break the Language Barrier series of books available on Amazon. There's levels 1, 2, 5. So whatever level you are, whether you're a beginner or you're more advanced and you just want to practice what you've learned, there's a book for you. If you're not sure which level you are, get in touch with me and I will help you to decide which book is the best for you. Also, if you're interested in Zoom classes in Spanish, those can be arranged. I've got some timetable left. Now, these books, the explanations are in English, the answers are in the back, and each exercise you do in these books is backed up by a YouTube video to practice your pronunciation and listening. Okay, so they're available on Amazon, Vicki Riley, Vicki with an I, and all available on Amazon. Thank you. Hola, soy yo, Vicki, otra vez. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about meal times in Spanish. Because one thing you find here, especially if you live over here in Spain, if you're watching this video and you want to learn Spanish because you're living in Spain, meal times are different from the way, the times that we eat in the UK and probably in the rest of Europe. In Spain, it's all quite different. So let me first of all, we'll start with obviously the first meal of the day, breakfast. In Spanish, this is el desayuno. And the verb to have breakfast is desayunar. Now, breakfast is a bit of a non-existent meal in Spain. In other words, they're not big on breakfast, so they might have a café con leche, you know, coffee with milk, a couple of magdalenas, or maybe a bit of cereal, but it's not a big, breakfast isn't, because normally, as you'll see, in Spain they eat their dinner quite late at night, so they're not normally so hungry at that time. So breakfast is likely to just be a café con leche and a magdalena, which, if you don't know what a magdalena is, it's a little sponge cake. So then comes because then as well at 11 o'clock they're likely to have el almuerzo. Which we in English, I suppose, would call 11s, wouldn't we? Like just a little mid-morning snack. This is more important in Spain because they probably haven't had any breakfast. So this 11 o'clock snack is quite important. I just want to mention that, so it's el almuerzo and the verb is almorzar. Have 11s. Now, in South America, el almuerzo and almorzar is to have lunch, not in Spain. So just bear that in mind. If you look it up in the dictionary, you may find that it means lunch, but not in Spain it doesn't. So for el almuerzo, they might have pan tostada, a little bit of toast with oil. They normally put oil, aceite, de oliva, olive oil on their toast, maybe tomate, a little bit of sort of like chopped tomatoes, which is lovely, really nice, bit of salt, bit of oil, very nice. And that's, or they might have a little tapa, a bit of tortilla, or anything really, but just a small thing. Because then at 2 o'clock, a las dos, this is the most important meal of the day for the Spanish, which is lunch, or la comida. La comida, and the verb is comer. So it's the same verb to eat. It means to have lunch as well in Spain. And this is at 2 o'clock. It's almost sacrosanct, like everybody eats at the same time. So if you want to go to the supermarket or to the shops when it's quiet, that's the time to go, because everybody's having la comida, or it's just all the meal times in Spain are almost, unless work, for whatever reason your work pattern doesn't allow you to eat at those times, everybody eats at the same times. So the breakfast, the desayuno I mentioned earlier, that would be up to about 9 o'clock or whatever until they start work. Then there's the more important meals, the almuerzo, the la comida. The lunchtime meal is very, very important in Spain for more than one reason. So it's not just a snack like we do, a lot of us in the UK would just have a quick sandwich for lunch. No, it's a 3-course meal. It's a starter, it's a main course, it's a pudding, because it's the main meal of the day. And they might have it in a restaurant. You may have heard of the menu del dia, which every restaurant in Spain is legally obliged to offer a menu del dia, which is a cheap 3-course menu basically, and it can go from as low as €10, up to about €20, but not normally more than that. If people possibly can, they will come home to have lunch, and that's when the family will get together, have lunch. It's a big thing, and it's not just a quick stolen half an hour, it's a proper sit down meal. Probably watch a little bit of telly afterwards, maybe doze off on the sofa, so it's a bit of a misconception that Spanish people have a siesta in the sense of going to bed for 3 hours or whatever. That's not true. You might have a little doze on the sofa. You like to have a little doze after you've eaten a heavy meal, don't you? But it is a heavy meal that they have at lunchtime. That is the main meal, and it will always be accompanied by salad and bread. That is just the custom. Because we're then in that murky area which is mediodía, the midday, which doesn't really, it's not more, because morning goes up to 2 o'clock when we have lunch in Spain, and then nothing really happens again till 4 or 5 o'clock. And then sometimes, mainly children, maybe at 6 o'clock, will have la merienda, or the verb is merendar. And this is like, I suppose in English we would think it's like having your tea, but certainly in the north of England, when you have your tea, that's your dinner, isn't it? That's your main meal of the day. This is not that. Might just be a yogurt, some fruit, it's just something to keep you going then up till dinner time. And it's mainly children, probably adults as well, but I know that for children it's especially important for them just to have a little yogurt or something, just something to keep them going, keep their energy up. Then, so the main, we've already had that. You would have already had the main meal of the day then at 2 o'clock, la comida, and so the evening meal, la cena. They wouldn't have it before 10. 10 o'clock is probably the earliest that you would have your dinner in Spain if you were Spanish. Maybe even 11 o'clock. In places like Madrid it goes even later. And, you know, for us that's sort of quite difficult, isn't it, to think about having a meal sort of so late at night at 10. But it's not a big meal, don't forget. So your la cena, and the verb is cenar, that will be, I don't know, just like an omelette maybe, or something light. It won't be like that, unless it's a special occasion. So at Christmas and times like that, yes, it will be a big meal that goes on all night, or maybe if it was someone's birthday or a special occasion, a celebration maybe. But in general, la cena is more of a snack type meal, not as snacky as la merienda at 6. You know, it wouldn't just be a yogurt probably, but it might be a toasted sandwich, or, you know, it's like the reverse to how we do it in the UK. So in the UK we tend to have a sandwich or a light snack at lunchtime, and then our main meal at night. In Spain they do it the other way. So you're having your main meal at 2 o'clock, and then you're having like a light snack 10, 11 o'clock. And, you know, sometimes people say to me, oh, I don't think I could go to bed after I'd just eaten. But they don't go to bed after that. You know, it's quite unusual. What I've learned while I've lived in Spain is even the children, you know, I'm quite often in my bed and my neighbours' children are still playing out in the street, because they don't seem to sleep much. You know, they go to bed late, they get up early, so it's not that they're in bed all morning. They go to bed late, they get up early, might have a little nap in the afternoon, but nothing mega, half an hour, dozing on the sofa. And yeah, they've got it's a completely different what's the word, timetable for the meals. So if you're living in a Spanish area and you're looking for food at about 6 o'clock, you won't find, restaurants won't be open. You know, I found that out years ago. Obviously, if you've got some expat restaurants around where you are, then they'll be open. You'll be able to get something to eat. Of course, now there's much more fast food where you can go to McDonald's more or less any time, etc. And that is the time to go to those places. If you want to go and avoid the queues to go to for your fast food, go before 10 o'clock. You'll probably be fine. Okay, so that's it. So I hope you found that interesting about the way meals are, what's the word, the difference in the culture of meals, if you like, in Spain as opposed to the UK. Once you understand it a bit better, you might understand some things about, you know, why when you go to a restaurant at 8 or 9 o'clock in Madrid in the evening, there's nobody there, there's only you sitting there eating, and then suddenly 10, 11 o'clock everybody comes in. That's just the way it is. So yeah, so why not, you know, what do you think about it? Do you think that way is better, the way they eat is better, or do you think it's better the way we eat in the UK? Let me know, or anywhere else in Europe, because I think in some countries in Europe they're different again, but I think definitely there won't be anyone who eats as late in the evening as the Spanish do. But anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you want to learn Spanish, you can ask me about Zoom classes, or if you want to buy my books, you can buy them on any Amazon site. Break the Language Barrier, Levels 1 to 5. Also, my little storybook, bilingual books, are all available on any Amazon site. Vicki Riley with an I. So, te veo muy pronto en el próximo video, y hasta entonces que tu Dios vaya contigo. Thank you for watching my channel, and if you are interested in knowing how I survived stalking, how I became a Spanish teacher, and how I ended up living in Spain, you can find it all out here in my book Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, available on Amazon. Yeah, all Amazon sites. Thank you.